welcome to Adaptation, where we talk about film adaptations and the original material they're based on. I'm Kendall Bryant, and this week's topic was inspired by my crush on Anna Kendrick. Of course, Pitch Perfect 2 did just come out, and it was phenomenal, so it doesn't really qualify for this list because we're going to be talking about bad adaptations and the standout performances that make them almost worth watching. In Miss Kendrick's case, I think you can probably guess that I'm talking about a series of films, the Twilight Saga. Playing Jessica Stanley, I think she only gets about 10 to 15 minutes of screen time, but she steals every second of it. In the books, Jessica is like this kind of shallow, annoying stereotype of a teenage girl. But in the films, Kendrick brings her acerbic line delivery to the role and just creates this character that I love watching. Seriously, I've just laughed through her scenes, and for once it's not because the movie is so bad, but because she is just so funny. Luckily, we live in a world with internet supercuts, and you can actually just watch her scenes, so you don't actually have to watch the movies. But on to some other standout performances. You may remember a few months ago when we did our Shakespeare month, we named Love Labour's Lost from 2000 a complete disaster. However, director and actor Kenneth Branagh was the opposite. At least in the acting part. In this particular instance, the directing probably needed some work. As a Shakespearean-trained actor, he was bound to shine above the rest of the cast, and he was the only one who didn't over-deliver, read, ruin, his lines, and he just seems to fit better into this 1930s motif that the film had going. Except for the mustache. Please just get rid of the mustache. Our next pick is actually a throwback to our best casting blog, where we talked about Brendan Fraser in Inkheart and how he was fantastic despite the fact that this film is nearly unwatchable for many of our hosts. His portrayal of Mo was a bright spot in a dreary film given how well he brought that book character to life. Swoon-worthy voice and all. He might have been given less than perfect material, but hey, he did his best, and his best is more than adequate as far as we're concerned. And finally, we have a twofer and another throwback to one of our previously named terrible adaptations. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland made it onto our list of worst fairy tale adaptations, given its overly cheesy and confusing plot that attempted to connect Wonderland with Agrabah. But there were two actors in that series that got us through that painful season, and they deserve our thanks. The first, of course, is Michael Sokka as the Knave of Hearts, who was such a fan favorite that he made it from Wonderland back onto the main show in Storybrooke. Of course, they've yet to do anything with his character. Don't get me started, just listen to our podcast on season 4. The Knave was without a doubt the standout performance of the show with his attitude, dry humor, and his softer side that he tried to hide from us. And by the end, we cared more about him than we did about the two main characters. And as a sneaky little side note here, I think a lot of that has to do with Emma Rigby as the Red Queen. I absolutely adored her, though I know few others did. What I do know other people agree with me on is that Naveen Andrews as Jafar also did his best to make us enjoy this less than enjoyable show. As a villain, Jafar had some really confusing motivations through most of it, but we still couldn't stop watching Naveen's portrayal. Not only is he just an incredibly beautiful man, but he was also a very smooth and in-control character that had this underlying layer of danger in everything that he said, which was just compelling enough to make the show worth watching. But that ends our list of standout performances in bad adaptations. I know there are a ton of other examples of this, so let us know in the comments what actors you think shined through the grime of bad adaptations. And of course, it would be lovely if you would like and subscribe and check out all our social media in the info section. Until next time, remember, every bad adaptation has a silver lining. Okay, maybe not every one.